Let's get started.
Yeah. Hi, Ram. Good morning.
Good
How?
morning, Shanti. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Ram. Thank you, Ram. So, yesterday we have covered about incorporation details, right? So today I came up with another interesting Topic. So I would like to know about how to prepare when we have technical interview schedule and what are the prerequisites, like what and all we have to know. So after once I am done with the technical interview, what is the process I have to follow? So could you please explain it to me so that it will be helpful?
Yeah, so good topic. If a person has any technical interview scheduled, then he has to do a lot of preparation. In this recession, getting the technical interview scheduled is a very big thing. And during this recession in Canada, on an average, people are getting only one interview per month. Okay, not per week, per month, people are getting only one interview. So you have to treat the technical interview as a life and death scenario. Either you have to crack it, or you're again back in the race waiting for the next interview to happen. So you have to treat these technical interviews very seriously. The days of trying to learn by attending interviews are gone. Earlier, without before recession, what used to happen is people used to apply for jobs, they used to get interviews scheduled, and they used to understand what they're asking in the interviews, and then they learn all those topics, and then they go for another interview, then they learn again. So that's how people used to learn, for fail in the first few interviews and then crack the offer in some seventh or eighth round of interview. But then these days those conditions are gone. Each interview is very important, and you have to treat it in a life and death scenario, and you should always try to crack it, because you're not getting too many interviews during this recession. Now,
Okay.
as a candidate who is getting the technical interview scheduled, what he has to prepare? That is the first fundamental question. When an interview is scheduled, then the recruiter or the hiring manager or the HR will always send you a meeting invite with the link to join the interview. So number one, always make sure whichever tool that they have sent the meeting invite for, install that tool. Like it can be either Zoom, or it can be Teams, or it can be, Google Meet, whatever it is. And I try to always attend only from computer, not from your phone. Okay. So
Okay.
do this test as soon as you get this interview invite. That is number one. Number two is, uh, first of all, you open the JD. Okay. If you don't have JD, email the recruiter to send JD. Or if you are doubtful about which JD the interview is scheduled for, always email the recruiter to send the JD. It is completely okay to request the recruiter to ask for a JD. Many people, are very apprehensive to ask recruiter to send the JD, thinking that they don't know what they're talking about, blah blah blah. You need not have to have that apprehension. Feel free to always request JD from the recruiter, and they would be gladly ready to share, because even the recruiter or the HR always want you to be successful in the interview. Okay, that is number one. So always get your JD handy. Number two, always ask the recruiter who is interviewing you and for their LinkedIn profiles. Okay, if you don't have those profiles, ideally you can get those names from the meeting invite, because they also invite those people. So from the names you can start searching for their profiles in LinkedIn. But if you're not able to get it, you can again email the recruiter to ask them to send the LinkedIn profiles, and they will be happy to share their LinkedIn profiles. That is
Okay.
number two. Number three, what you have to do is, if the interview is scheduled few days, like if you have about few days to attend the interview, then the plan is different. If your interview is the very next day, the plan is different. Okay, we'll
Okay.
first take care of the first first type of interview, where you have the interview scheduled 4 or 5 days later,
Okay.
or maybe one day later than one day.
Okay.
Okay, in such case, what you have to do is open the JD.
Mm.
Okay, go through each sentence and word one by one, highlight all the technical words, read the JD, and understand what is one tool or the concept they're mainly focusing on.
Mm.
For example, in the cloud, let's say if you're attending an Azure cloud engineer role interview, And if you read the JD, if you feel that they are focusing more on API gateway management, then the interview will be only on API gateway management. So that sense, what they are primarily focusing on, you should understand. How we will get that information? Go through each word, highlight all the technical words, mark them in yellow using a highlighter in MS Word, mark them in yellow, and then see the density of the words. Okay, which words have more density? That is the topic that you have to focus on.
Prepare.
So that
Okay.
is one thing that you have to study. So
Okay.
after doing all the highlighting work, you write notes on what is the primary topic, what is the top two topic, what is the top three topic. Identify the top three concepts or the topics that the JD is focusing more on. Will the interview happen only as per JDs? Probably not. But at least you will have some information that these are the three areas that you should be more focused on. And do not try to do courses during that time. So people tend to do Udemy courses when they are preparing for the interview. Udemy courses you have to do when you're learning about a topic, not when you go for an interview. Okay. So you have to study Google search. Okay, what is API gateway management? Study. After you watch some YouTube video. What is load balancer? Study. What understand what is the load balancer. Whatever topics you have have underlined or you have highlighted, you study about each word, either a YouTube video or some Google search. Quickly glance at what it is so that you'll understand what that each word is about. Don't try to do Udemy courses then.
Okay.
Unless the recruiter tells you that is the focus that the interview is going to be on. But many
Okay.
of the recruiters don't tell you what is the interview going to be on, right?
Okay.
To study. Now, so this is the exercise you are going to do, in um, uh, yeah,
1 day before.
yeah, till
And then.
1 day before. Okay. Additionally, with emergence of Chat GPT, what you can do is you can copy paste your JD in Chat GPT and ask that, imagine you are the interviewer. What are the questions that are going to be asked to me? And you can also give the complexity rate, medium complex, high complexity, low complexity, depending on the number of years that the job is, posted for. It will
Okay.
give you some X number of questions. So 1 day before, you study only these questions. So if it gives you 20 questions, then, study all the 20 questions. Ask for more, it will give you. Okay, so study as many as you can. If you're exhausted with chat GPT questions, then you go to the interview. Whatever is your primary topic, then you search for interview questions on Azure API Gateway Management, interview questions for Azure Cloud Engineer, interview questions for Azure Load Balancer, interview questions for Azure Infrastructure Engineer. Whatever is the role, you just try, and you will get a lot of links in Google with all the interview questions, and they will also give answers. Study about them. 1 day before, don't try to study courses. Only your job should be Chat GPT, Google. Interview questions in Google, then ask Chat GPT to give questions and answers based on the JD. This is the only exercise you have to do. What is the reason behind doing all this exercise? Because all the terms will be fresh on your mind. All the answers to the questions will be, based on these questions. And these days, even the interviewers are using Chat GPT to
Okay.
ask the questions. Who
Yes.
knows? You are lucky if your prompt and the interviewer prompt is also the same question answers will come, right? But again, this may not be guaranteed, but I'm just giving you, some hint. Okay, so this is what you have to do 1 day before. But if you have more number of days, then do the highlighting concept I told you to study, and then study about each and every topic in YouTube, Google, understand the nuances of the topic, go in depth into the topic. Okay, so don't try to do coding related work after the interview schedule. It will make you more tense and make you less confident if you try to do coding, because
Okay.
obviously coding will not be confident for people who are especially coming from a non-IT to IT background.
Yes.
If you do all this exercise, meaning pulling the JD, identifying the right profiles of the candidate, and preparing for each keyword in that JD, and then using chat GPT, come up with some questions, and then ask for interview questions in Google, you will be very confident to attend the interview. Now, how do we know whether we get behavioral questions or a hardcore technical questions or a very lightweight technical questions in the interview? Okay, this
Mm.
also exercise we have to do even before preparing for the interview.
Yes.
The way you can know about it is by going through the profiles of the interviewer. If
Yes.
the interviewer profiles are at a director level or a hiring manager level, they are big guys. So they don't
Mm.
go deep into the technical
Tech.
aspect. They don't ask you at a coding level or at a use case level. Instead,
Yeah.
they will ask you, okay, what did you do in your past role? How did you handle load balancing? Very, very higher level questions. So you are knowing, okay, I will be asked only higher level questions. But if your interviewer is a senior person or a lead or a senior developer or somebody who is at the same level who is interviewing for his peer, then they will always try to ask you the questions which they don't know.
Oh, okay.
See if you know the answers for those. If you are able to tell the answers, then they will think, oh, you are better than, oh, this guy seems to have. So then in such case, you have to prepare at a very low level. So the level of preparation you have to do depends on who is interviewing you. If
Mm.
the interview is being done by person of the same level experience or a senior level or an architect person, then it's going to be very techy geeky kind of Q&A. If the interview is being asked by the director level or a manager level, then most of the times it will be at a very high level technical. It will be a combination of technical and behavioral, but
Okay.
not a very deep dive into the technology, but at a very superficial level. But if sometimes there will be director and manager and also the hands-on person. So in
Mhm.
such case, you have to prepare both high level and also low level.
Mm.
Okay, so you have to decide again to summarize. Number one, get the JD from the recruiter, get LinkedIn profiles from the recruiter, then see the profiles of the people who are going to interview you, understand whether a high level person or mid level person or low level people, and then imagine the complexity based on that. Then open the JD, highlight all the keywords, and study about all those keywords in Google and YouTube. And a day before the interview, use chat gpt to ask the questions as if chat gpt is the interviewer. Okay, I'll put you some prompts which I typically advise in this YouTube video down, but otherwise you can use your own prompt and then go to Google and ask for type interview questions on the role name or a technology name, and you'll be able to get it get the questions and prepare only those. So
So
before
it
the interview,
depends on the time duration also. So suppose if it is scheduled for 30 minutes, can we consider it as only technical or only behavioral?
no,
No?
time duration doesn't decide the type
Type of.
of questions or the level of complexity. It is the person who is interviewing you depends.
Okay. Okay.
Ideally, if it is a 30 minutes, then it is more like a matchmaking round.
Oh,
I covered in the other video, right? So other if it is 1 hour or 45 minutes, then it is hardcore technical round,
okay. Okay.
right? So that is the thumb rule. But the level of complexity depends on who is interviewing you, not based on the time.
So can you give me some tips on face-to-face interview?
Face-to-face interviews have very high probability of getting success than online interviews, because in a face-to-face interviews you can showcase your confidence in person,
Mm.
and with all your body language, smile, and then you can attract the interviewer. And in NCPL, the success rate for in-person interview is 80%, whereas the success rate for an online interview is about 50-50. Right?
Okay.
So we always, wherever there is a possibility, always ask for in-person interviews. But if not, then ask for online interview. But
Okay.
in-person interviews have. So tips: you have to be confident, dress well, same standard stuff. Fundamental, stick to the fundamentals. Always have a smile, showcase confidence in your body language, and then talk freely without getting tensed. It is easy to say, but then you will still get tense. But don't show that on your face.
Okay.
So interview is all about how you manage that 1 hour of time, and it's not always about you know how much technically you know.
You know.
It's not always about how many you answered right and how many you answered wrong. Even if you answered everything wrong, but if you handled it very well, you can still pass the interview. Even if you answered all the questions well, accurately, but still if you don't showcase your knowledge or showcase your body language well, then you might not be able to crack the interview. That attitude of being positive and ability to learn, that decides the outcome of the interview, not the accuracy of the questions.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. Now my technical interview is done. So, could you please share me the tips or guidance on post-interview process, technical interview process?
Yeah, when once the interview is over, at
Okay.
the end of the day, you just email whoever has sent you the invite. Okay.
Okay.
Ideally, if you just reply to the calendar invite, which covers everyone in the reply all into the calendar invite, then you can say, hey, thanks, it was nice chatting with you in the interview today. I hope I have answered all your questions well. And if you are consciously aware that you are not able to answer some questions well, you can say, I was not able to answer the networking related concepts well, probably because it's been a long time I worked in networking, but I'm really ready to learn about it, ramp up my skill set in a couple of days and be ready for that. But otherwise, feel free to let me know the interview outcome. Uh, it shows them that you are really interested in the job and you're serious about the job and you like that job. So even if the interviewer has a bad impression when he was interviewing you, by seeing your email, he might see that you're really serious about the job and I might ask you to come for another discussion. In fact, when people apply for jobs in NCPL, even if I reject them, when once I get this kind of emails, I always show soft corner towards them.
Good.
Okay, so that really works. As I said, hiring is all about understanding each other's emotions, showing seriousness in joining the company, showing seriousness that you're really interested to learn to do the job, even if you don't know. Those things will help you get the job, not the accuracy of the questions. Many people don't understand this. They always think, oh, they asked me 10 questions. I answered 9 of them. I will definitely clear the interview. No, they don't.
Okay.
And another problem with the post interview process is the emotional journey you will undergo. Okay. Number one, you will think that you have answered all the questions right. But in Canada, in interviews, they don't say that your answer is wrong. Even if it is wrong, they will still try to listen to it. They will always say fantastic, excellent, awesome kind of words, even if the interview is wrong. Uh, but we should not take that as a testimony that our answers are right. This is where many people again go wrong. They think, oh, he said awesome for everything, which means I have answered all the questions right, which means I can go to the next level or I can get an offer. But they will be surprised to see that they will get a rejection
Okay.
the very next day or few days later. So that's why your job is only to attend the interview. If you're shortlisted, you will anyway get the call or an email.
Yes.
If you're not shortlisted, just ignore it. Many people go into depression as soon as they see the rejection and they pause the job search for a few weeks and then again then the momentum will be gone. Don't
Yes.
do this mistake, right? So
Okay.
don't always emotionally get attached to the interview. Your job is only to attend the interview. So prepare well and attend the interview. After that, after sending a thank you note, forget about the interview. Because if the job is for you, you'll anyway get the news. If the job is not for you, you can also always concentrate on your next interview. But don't try to eagerly wait for the outcome. You don't go into depression if the outcome is negative. Don't pause the job search because of the demotivation due to rejection. All these are going to impact your whole job search journey.
Yeah.
Learn the art.
Sometimes. Sometimes we may get reply. Sometimes we may get like, see, we are in process of doing interviews. We may get back to you after 1 week or 2 weeks. So shall we consider it as positive or negative? What happens?
Obviously negative, because if you are really good in that round, they will always try to schedule the next round quite quickly.
Oh.
But if they don't like you, they will strategically say, We are also interviewing other people.
Mm.
Okay, we will get back to you after finishing that, which means it's straightforward and negative thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. But you said in Canada the process is slow, right? So can we consider it as slow process?
it is very slow process.
Yeah. So
Sometimes,
that's what I'm thinking. So daily they do one person and it may take delays. So
yeah. See, company don't want to, if they get 20 applications, they don't want to interview 20 people and get select one person, right?
okay.
They will always try to, interview the very first person. If he likes, conduct second round while the other rounds are happening. So if I could get the best candidate in the second interview,
Mm.
why do I have to conduct the 18 more interviews if I get 20 candidates, right? People don't want to waste that much of a time. If
Yes.
they're saying so, it means you are an outright rejected person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one more thing, Ram, I have observed. See, once the interview is done, if the interviewer asks, "Do you have any questions?" No, no, I'm done. I'm done with the questions. So, is it correct, or can we continue the conversation with them?
That I will cover in another question. What kind of questions you should ask if the interviewer says if you have any questions? It's a
Okay.
separate science altogether. I don't want to mix it with this.
Okay, Ram. Then I'll come up with those questions in the next session. Then,
Yeah.
yeah, nice talking to you, Ram. So I have got a good idea about the interview process, technical interview process, and the duration, how to check the interview, technical interviews LinkedIn profile. So now I have got the good idea about the process. Thank you, Ram. Thank you
Yeah.
for the clarification. Yeah, thank you. Nice
Okay.
talking to you, Ram.
Shanti. Bye.
Bye, Ram.